Welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the issue that has rocked the halls of Port Charles General Hospital, the deadly conflict between Nurse Amy and Elizabeth Weber. In recent episodes, viewers have witnessed an escalating feud that began with routine care and devolved into something far more sinister. What started as simple personality clashes has now ended in tragedy, and one man, Lucky Spencer, is determined to uncover the truth behind Liz's untimely death. From the moment Amy first arrived on the Liz's care team, tension was palpable. Amy, a by-the-book nurse with years of experience, believed strongly in strict protocols and unwavering professionalism. Liz, still recovering from her own recent trauma, found Amy's brusque manner cold and unsympathetic. Their disagreements began over something as innocuous as medication schedules, then flared up over more personal issues. Amy's curt bedside manner, Liz's impatience with hospital routines, and a series of misunderstandings that neither woman could resolve. In Liz's eyes, Amy was ruthless and uncaring. In Amy's mind, Liz was ungrateful and disrespectful. Their mutual disdain grew until Liz demanded a different nurse, someone gentler, someone who could understand her emotional state. When Liz's request for a replacement landed on the nurse supervisor's desk, Amy saw red. She had worked at Port Charles General for years, building a reputation for reliability and competence. She would not be cast aside because of Liz's whims. Fueled by anger and wounded pride, Amy vowed she would make Liz pay. In her mind, Liz's attempt to replace her was an unforgivable slight, a direct attack on her identity and professionalism. That vow would be the spark that ignited a premeditated act of violence. Late one night, after Liz had fallen into a deep sleep, Amy crept into her hospital room carrying a standard pillow. The act may have seemed absurd to an outsider, a nurse using a pillow as a weapon, but in Amy's calculation, it was simple, effective, and untraceable. She shaded the room's bedside lamp, gently pressed the pillow over Liz's face, and held it there until Liz's struggles ceased. Despite a small growl of panic from Liz, Amy showed no mercy. She left the room as quietly as she had entered, her white uniform spotless, her composed expression betraying none of the horror she had just inflicted. By morning, the hospital was in chaos. Liz was found unresponsive, and frantic staff summoned every available resource to save her. Paramedics were called, a crash cart was wheeled in, and medical teams worked endlessly to revive her. But it was too late. Elizabeth Weber was pronounced dead at 6:17 a.m. Those who had once quarreled over dosage schedules and bedpans were now united in grief and disbelief. How could a patient die under the watch of a dedicated nurse? How could Liz's long road to recovery end so abruptly? The police quickly cordoned off the ward, launching a full homicide investigation. Detectives combed through surveillance footage, questioned every staff member who had entered Liz's room, and meticulously reviewed logs of patient care. Amy, who had anticipated a cursory inquiry, found herself the subject of intense scrutiny. Yet she had done her homework. She'd adjusted her schedule, created a false trail of rounds and treatments, and enlisted the help of a friendly colleague to vouch for her presence elsewhere that morning. The fabricated alibi seemed airtight, and detectives began to search for other suspects, perhaps an unknown assailant who had slipped past security. Enter Lucky Spencer, Liz's longtime friend, confidant, and someone who understood better than anyone the complexities of Liz's relationships at the hospital. He had noticed the friction between Liz and Amy long before the tragedy, had overheard their heated exchanges, and had seen the look of vindictive satisfaction on Amy's face when Liz demanded a replacement. To Lucky, the police's list of suspects read like a bureaucratic comedy. None of them matched what he knew to be true. He believed that behind the calm facade of Nurse Amy lay a heart cold enough to commit murder. Lucky began his own quiet investigation. He pored over the footage the detectives overlooked, the brief flicker of movement in the hall just after midnight, the shadow slipping out of Liz's room at precisely 2:43 a.m., the slightly ajar door when the morning nurse arrived. He cross-referenced staff schedules, noting where each nurse claimed to be. He interviewed colleagues, feigning casual interest, listening for any hint of guilt or discomfort when Amy's name came up. The more he dug, the more convinced he became that Amy had planned Liz's death down to the smallest detail. Meanwhile, Amy watched Lucky with growing unease. She was no stranger to pressure after all. She had spent years handling life and death situations, but this was different. This wasn't a routine surgical procedure or a critical code blue, this was a murder she had orchestrated. She began to second-guess her careful planning, her self-assuredness giving way to panic. Every glance from a fellow nurse felt like an accusation, every knock at the door made her heart race. Yet she also bristled at the idea of being caught. She would do anything to protect her secrets. As Lucky's investigation gained momentum, he uncovered a key piece of evidence, a hospital maintenance report indicating that one of the cameras outside Liz's room had been momentarily disabled during the crucial hour. The record showed that the system had undergone an unscheduled reboot at exactly 2:41 a.m. the same time Amy was seen crossing the hallway. This small, overlooked discrepancy was all the proof Lucky needed. He brought it to the police, who, after verifying the logs, shifted their focus back to Amy. Confronted by detectives, Amy initially clung to her alibi. She insisted she had been charting medication records in the nurse's station for the entire night, that she had never left her assigned areas. But when pressed about the camera reboot, her composure cracked. She claimed it was a maintenance glitch, unrelated to any wrongdoing, yet the timing was too precise to be coincidental. Faced with mounting evidence and unable to fabricate further lies, Amy's defenses collapsed. Tearfully, she confessed to the murder of Elizabeth Weber, admitting that her fury over being replaced had driven her to an act of unspeakable violence. The confession sent shockwaves through Port Charles General. Colleagues who had once trusted Amy now recoiled in horror. Patients who had praised her care now wondered how many others might have been at risk. And Liz's friends and family, who had mourned her sudden loss, found a twisted solace in knowing the truth, that her death had not been an accident, but a deliberate act by someone she had thought was there to heal her. In the aftermath, Lucky struggled to reconcile his relief at solving the case with the deep sorrow of losing his friend. He had always believed in justice, but he also knew that no verdict could bring Liz back. He visited her memorial service, laying flowers by her photo, vowing to honor her memory by fighting for patients' safety and accountability. As for Nurse Amy, she was led away in handcuffs, her white uniform replaced by a prison jumpsuit, a stark reminder that even those sworn to save lives can become monsters when consumed by rage. And so, the halls of Port Charles General have fallen silent once more, the echoes of betrayal and tragedy lingering in every corner. The story of Liz and Amy serves as a chilling cautionary tale, that unchecked anger and wounded pride can lead even the most trusted caregivers down a path of darkness. But thanks to one man's unwavering dedication, Lucky Spencer, the truth emerged from the shadows, and justice was served. Next, we will dive deep into the tangled web of Port Charles, where the shifting alliances and secret schemes are setting the stage for a showdown that could change everything. A brewing storm, the power struggle intensifies. As Port Charles braces for impact, the city's most influential figures are maneuvering for control in a landscape fraught with deception and ambition. The tension between Sonny Corinthos and Sidwell is reaching a fever pitch, with both sides employing cunning strategies to outwit the other. The stakes have never been higher, as every move could tip the balance of power and unleash consequences that ripple through every corner of the city. The question on everyone's mind is whether Marco, the enigmatic new player, is truly oblivious to his parentage or if he's been a covert operative for Sidwell from the start. This uncertainty injects a sense of paranoia into Sonny's camp, where trust is already a rare commodity. Jason Morgan's relentless pursuit of the truth may unlock secrets that could either fortify Sonny's position or expose vulnerabilities that Sidwell is all too eager to exploit. Sidwell's gambit, winning over Tracy Quartermain. Sidwell, ever the master tactician, recognizes that gaining Tracy Quartermain's trust could be the key to expanding his influence within deception. Tracy, a formidable businesswoman with a reputation for seeing through even the most elaborate facades, is not easily swayed. Sidwell's attempts to draw parallels between their experiences and values are met with skepticism, as Tracy weighs the potential benefits and risks of aligning with such a powerful yet unpredictable ally. Should Tracy decide to join forces with Sidwell, deception could be propelled into a new era of prosperity and dominance. However, if she rebuffs his advances, Sidwell may become an even more formidable adversary, leveraging his resources to undermine the company's stability. Tracy's decision is not merely a business transaction, it is a pivotal moment that could redefine the future of Port Charles's corporate landscape. Jordan Ashford's high-stakes undercover operation. Meanwhile, Deputy Mayor Jordan Ashford is navigating her own perilous path. Her calculated distancing from Laura Collins has raised eyebrows, especially with Anna Devane, who is left puzzled by Jordan's abrupt shift in loyalty. What few realize is that Jordan is orchestrating an undercover operation of unprecedented risk, possibly embedding herself within Sidwell's inner circle to gather intelligence. This daring maneuver places Jordan in constant jeopardy, as the slightest misstep could expose her true intentions and place her directly in harm's way. The psychological toll of maintaining such a deception is immense, and the outcome remains uncertain. Will Jordan's gamble yield the crucial information needed to dismantle Sidwell's operation, or will her subterfuge be uncovered before she can complete her mission? Lucky Spencer's return, old flames and new schemes. On the domestic front, Lucky Spencer's return to Elizabeth Weber's life has introduced a new layer of complexity to the unfolding drama. Taking over as her caregiver after Lulu and Aiden's reservations about Nurse Amy, Lucky's presence is both comforting and enigmatic. His assurances to Elizabeth that everything is part of my master plan hint at motives that may extend beyond simple affection. Is Lucky seeking a second chance at romance, or is he positioning himself strategically in anticipation of the escalating conflict between Sonny and Sidwell? The rekindling of old emotions could complicate matters further, as unresolved feelings and past grievances resurface. Lucky's actions are being closely watched, as both allies and adversaries attempt to discern his true intentions. Sonny's calculated risk, keeping Marco close. At the heart of the intrigue is Sonny Corinthos' audacious decision to keep Marco, the son of his enemy, within his inner circle. Rejecting Diane Miller's advice to terminate Marco's employment, Sonny sees an opportunity to turn a potential liability into an asset. By tasking Jason Morgan with uncovering Marco's loyalties, Sonny is playing a dangerous game of chess, where every piece is critical and every move could be fatal. This approach is fraught with danger. If Marco is indeed an unwitting pawn, Sonny could gain unprecedented access to Sidwell's secrets. However, if Marco is a deliberate plant, Sonny's entire operation could be compromised from within. The tension is palpable as Jason prepares to interrogate Marco, knowing that any misstep could alert Sidwell and trigger a chain reaction of violence and betrayal. Diane Miller's dilemma, legal instincts versus mob tactics. Diane Miller, Sonny's trusted attorney, finds herself at a crossroads. Her initial impulse to sever ties with Marco reflects her legal training and desire to minimize risk. However, Sonny's refusal to heed her warning forces Diane to reconsider her role in the unfolding drama. She must balance her commitment to protecting Sonny's interests with the ethical and practical challenges posed by his unorthodox methods. Diane's predicament underscores the broader theme of loyalty versus pragmatism. As she navigates this treacherous terrain, her decisions will have far-reaching implications for both Sonny's organization and her own professional integrity. The interplay between legal strategy and mob tactics creates a dynamic that is as unpredictable as it is compelling. Jason Morgan's mission, the search for truth. Jason Morgan, ever the loyal enforcer, is thrust into the role of investigator as he seeks to determine Marco's true allegiance. His approach is methodical yet relentless, leveraging his experience to extract information without tipping his hand. The outcome of Jason's inquiry could be the linchpin that determines the success or failure of Sonny's entire strategy. If Jason uncovers evidence that Marco is a double agent, Sonny may be able to neutralize the threat before it escalates. Conversely, if Marco is genuinely unaware of his parentage, Jason's findings could provide Sonny with a powerful bargaining chip in his ongoing war with Sidwell. The suspense surrounding Jason's mission adds a layer of urgency to the narrative, as time is of the essence and the margin for error is razor-thin. Port Charles on the brink, analysis and predictions. The intricate interplay of ambition, loyalty, and deception has brought Port Charles to a tipping point. Each character's actions are driven by a unique blend of personal motivation and strategic calculation, creating a volatile environment where alliances can shift in an instant. The city's fate hangs in the balance, with the outcome of these power struggles likely to reshape the social and political landscape for years to come. Analytically, the situation can be viewed through the lens of game theory, where each player's choices are influenced by the perceived intentions and capabilities of their rivals. The uncertainty surrounding Marco's loyalties serves as a wildcard, introducing a level of unpredictability that complicates even the most carefully laid plans. As the various factions jockey for position, the potential for unexpected alliances and betrayals looms large. Invented elements, the Whisper Network and the Shadow Broker. To further enrich the narrative, imagine the existence of a clandestine Whisper Network operating in the shadows of Port Charles. This secretive group, composed of informants and double agents, trades in information and favors, subtly influencing the course of events from behind the scenes. The Shadow Broker, an enigmatic figure at the helm of this network, could be orchestrating events to serve their own mysterious agenda, adding yet another layer of intrigue to an already complex situation. The presence of the Whisper Network would force all major players to question the reliability of their intelligence and the loyalty of their associates. The Shadow Broker's manipulations could tip the scales at critical moments, ensuring that no one in Port Charles is ever truly in control. Conclusion. The calm before the storm. As the dust settles and the players take their positions, Port Charles stands on the precipice of dramatic change. The decisions made in the coming days will reverberate throughout the city, shaping the destinies of its most powerful inhabitants. Whether through calculated strategy, emotional entanglement, or the machinations of unseen forces, the outcome remains uncertain. Stay tuned as we continue to unravel the mysteries and power plays that define life in Port Charles. The next chapter promises even more twists, betrayals, and revelations, because in this city, nothing is ever as it seems.